Hello my spooky friends, it is Stacy and welcome to Special Effects Makeup on a Budget. Today I'm going to show you how to block out your eyebrows, and depending on what kind of look I'm going for, I have about 3 different techniques that I use. But today I wanted to show you the most affordable way to do it. I am using the Elmer's glue stick, and if you're like me, if they're thick, if they're dark, you need some help, it takes some time, but we can get through it. So I'm just going to go ahead and hand you over to voiceover Stacy. To clean my eyebrows and the skin, I am using witch hazel instead of alcohol. Witch hazel is less drying and less irritating to the skin. I also stay away from makeup wipes and micellar water because they have oil-based products in them to break down makeup. I am using the Elmer's washable glue stick. And I see you guys do this a lot. Stop doing this. Do not lick the glue stick. It is so unhygienic. You can get eye infections. Spritz it with a little bit of water because the water is what will help it glide through the eyebrows. And with a spoolie, I go in and I get my eyebrows pushed up, or you could push them down depending on what is more comfortable for you. But I find that mine lay down when I push them up a lot easier than trying to push them completely down into the eye socket. Going in and protecting my hair, and then I take a layer of glue and I go against the growth of the hair, working in circles so that I can get all the product all over each brow, and then I go back in circles with the growth of the hair, and then once I feel that it's filled with product, I then start pushing that up and take a spoolie and making sure that I push them up and work that product into the brow. And with a spatula, in order to get those to lay down, I'm taking it and pressing as hard as I can to make sure that all the hairs stick down and are secure. And if you have a hard time with the spatula, you can go back in with some glue, or you can spritz the spatula, or you can wet your finger and begin to press it down. So I go in on the other side, making sure I brush the brows up, spritzing my stick, and going in again with circular motions against the growth of the hair and with the growth of the hair. And then once I feel that that product is built up, I then start to push those hairs up, and then take another spoolie and push them up to make sure that those hairs are separated and secure. Going in with some cotton with some more witch hazel, I clean up product above the eyebrow and up underneath. It's a lot easier to take care of this when you're working in thin layers, and that's the key to blocking out the eyebrows. First and foremost is to use thin layers at each step. You want to build up slowly, making sure first and foremost that you are getting rid of texture in the eyebrow hair, and going in with another coat of glue. Now that they are secured and pushed up, I go in and just rake my glue stick in the direction that they are sitting, and with my spatula again pressing them down, getting them secure. And if again you have a hard time moving anything through them, you can spritz your spatula or add more glue. For me, the number of times that I layer glue on really depends on how well I have waxed my eyebrows or have trimmed them up. Sometimes I just don't have time for that, so it might be 4 to 5 coats of glue, and in this case it was about 3, and going back and forth, making sure that I take care of the product that's building up over and underneath the eyebrow. Going in with a 3rd coat of glue and repeating the steps, pressing the spatula, getting everything secure and laid down flat, and then going in and cleaning up the buildup of the product above and below the brow. If at any time that you are working with your brows and some of the product begins to build up and get clumpy, you can take a little bit of spritzer on your finger or any tool that you're using and press that back in. I am using a powder from LA Girl. It is the translucent powder. And with a powder puff, I go in and get powder into that, making sure that I press really hard. Each step I do and each product that I add, I press pretty hard to continue to get these layers to come together and kind of like meld together. So you can see I'm pressing pretty hard, but I need to get that powder in to make sure that I don't have anything that's sticky. With a small brush, I just remove the excess powder that I don't need. And with my brush, I rake it over across the brow to see if it's skating across, and the goal is to get rid of texture and to press those brows into the skin so everything looks smooth, so when you turn to the side you see no brows and any hairs sticking up. Often I have tested with my finger and think that everything's covered, but if you push a tool over it, you will tell if it skates across, and that's something that you don't want when you're going to paint over them. I am using the e.l.f. Camo Concealer to conceal the color. I do this first before I color correct because it also depends on the type of concealer that you're using. If it has a little bit more color in it, something a little bit more orange, you can absolutely get that color corrected depending on the concealer that you're using. But I try to go for the most natural way that I can do it first. And this also depends if you're going to leave this for a look that's flesh and you need the brows to just go away, or if you're going to paint over them and you're using a dark color where you will cancel out the color. You could skip this step if you wanted to, but it's a good way to practice blocking out the eyebrows. It's just a step that I do by using concealer first before I color correct, and even if I'm going to paint over them, I do the same thing each time. It's just a good practice, and it gets you used to blocking out the eyebrow and also color correcting. Now this is a Shop Miss A product. It is a color corrector with a doe foot, and it's orange. Orange will cancel out the dark. If your eyebrows are very, very dark, this is a very good technique to use. Also, if you don't have anything that's a liquid concealer, you could go in with powder or an eyeshadow that's orange. I would just make sure that I press powder products onto cream and then set cream products with powder. Setting this concealer with a little bit more powder is a lot of repeated process, but then layers, repeat, and then layers. Again, going back in with the e.l.f. Camo Concealer to make sure I cancel out all the color and that darkness coming up underneath the layers. Again, setting with some more powder. And then going in and doing another press to make sure all the products are incorporated and are sticking together and nothing is moving and nothing is wet. So get it set. Now I'm going in with foundation that I've already put for my skin tone. I have that on the bottom part of my face, as you can see, but now it's time to actually bring it back toward the more flesh tone. So whatever you are using, if you had no foundation on, you can go in with a darker foundation and have this be one step instead of 2 or 3 like I did in here. But even when I'm coming back to color correct for the skin tone, I do it in very thin layers. And this is a damp sponge. You can use it, just make sure that you tap lightly around the work that you've done so that it doesn't pull up or begin to break the products down. I then check with my fingers to make sure that everything is still smooth and secure and dry. And I notice that I still need to color correct some more, and I go back in with another thin layer of my foundation. Now the foundation I'm using today is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus. It is very reasonably priced, under $6, and you can find it at most retail stores. But it's a very good product. I've used it for years, and the color that I'm using today is Buff Bisque. Again, another thin layer of foundation to get everything to match. And I will list all the products that I have in the description box below. Every product that I recommend, I use, I buy with my own money, and so all the links for shopping are the best prices for you to get these products. I want you to be able to have fun, to learn, to practice, and it not break the bank. Going in with one last pass of powder and making sure I powder the rest of my face and everything is complete. Now hidden and color corrected. I know I've been promising this video for a while, and I'm just so glad to finally get it out there, and I hope that really helps you guys. And if you're having fun and you want more tutorials like this, please hit that subscribe button. And if you're enjoying hanging out with me, why not hang out for this next video? And I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.